Would you rather inherit $47 million in cash or one broken watch? If I told you the worthless watch is where all the real power is hiding, and if this happened in your family, would you stay quiet or light everything on fire? Hold that thought, because I want your take at the end. And if you like stories that make you question money, legacy, and favorite child energy, hit subscribe to the Is It Just Me channel so you don't miss the next one. In a silent lawyer's office, a daughter inherits a broken watch while her brother takes $47 million. And that cracked relic is about to rewrite everything. This is the story of Olivia Turner, an engineer, a watchmaker, a daughter who spent 28 years trying to earn a father's approval. And on the day of his will, she received a single object, the oldest piece in his private collection, a vintage gold timepiece that had not ticked for decades. Her brother Marcus received the rest: the companies, the properties, the liquid assets, approximately $47 million. The room held its breath as the contrast landed. Wealth and power for the golden child, a broken heirloom for the daughter who chose the craft. Her mother bristled, wrapped in couture and indignation. Why the broken one? Why not the collection worth millions? The lawyer's voice did not waver. The will was precise. The broken watch alone went to Olivia. The rest went to Marcus. Marcus smirked and barely looked up. A hobby, not a career. A toy, not a legacy. But Olivia clutched the leather box, felt its weight, and saw something her family could not. Not a relic. A map. Back in Boston, above a modest repair shop she built with skill and stubborn resolve, Olivia opened the box beneath a pool of warm lamplight. The gold case carried the soft patina of decades. At first glance, it looked like any fine mid-century treasure. But Olivia had studied the soul of timekeeping. She knew when perfection hid purpose. She eased the case back open and found a movement that gleamed with recent care. If this was broken, it was broken by design. She examined the engraving inside the case and found an inconsistency so slight most eyes would miss it. Not a flaw, a signal. She reached for her finest tools and began to read the watch as if it were a book written in steel. Levers whispered. Plates shifted. Somewhere, a hidden spring remembered its cue. And then, just as dawn touched her workshop windows, a soft click. The watch opened not to a mainspring but to a secret, a folded slip of aged paper. On it, her father's precise hand, a set of coordinates, and a single line. For the daughter who sees beyond the surface, follow these coordinates. What you find there will change everything. The numbers pointed to the Swiss Alps, to a village her father had visited often and alone, to the edge of a mountain life where time is measured by ice and stone. Olivia booked a flight without hesitation. She would leave the boardrooms to Marcus. She would follow the map. She would see where the watch wanted her to go. After 14 hours in the air and a winding climb through switchbacks and fog, Olivia arrived at the coordinates. A quiet village called Grindelwald. At its edge stood an old workshop with a faded wooden sign. Horlogerie Feber. The windows were filmed with dust. The door was locked by an antique keyhole, intricate and deliberate. Olivia studied the crown of her inheritance, removed it, held it to the light. The shape matched perfectly. The lock turned. The door sighed open. Inside, time had paused. Benches lined the walls. Tools lay where hands once set them down with care. Dust covered everything except for a single gleaming presence in the center. A massive safe that did not belong to the past. Its door carried an intricate mechanism that looked less like a conventional lock and more like the inside of a watch. The room watched her back as she stepped closer. What had her father hidden here? Footsteps crossed the threshold. Olivia turned to an elderly man whose eyes were sharp and steady. "Henry's daughter," he said. We have waited a long time for you, Olivia. His name was Klaus Weber, the name on the door, the name her father never spoke at home. He moved with the ease of a man in his own workshop. He did not ask why she was there. He already knew. He told her there had been an arrangement, that her father understood she would come, that she had been chosen because she saw what others did not. Klaus produced a watch identical to hers, a twin key. Then he told a story that rearranged the Turner legacy in a single hour. In 1952, Klaus's father and Olivia's grandfather discovered a technique that changed what a mechanical watch could be. It did not simply measure time with unprecedented precision. When synchronized across their network of timepieces, it allowed moments where time felt as if it paused for the outside world. Microseconds, imperceptible to most, vast to those who knew how to use them. In finance, in coordination, in any field where first is everything, such moments are power. The Weber and Turner name did not rise on ordinary contracts. It rose on a quiet empire of synchronized precision, on being the keeper of time itself. The secret was never patented. It was guarded, protected by craft and by trust, passed through hands that could build and maintain what clocks could never declare. Over the past 30 years, every major coordinated transaction that demanded absolute simultaneity had leaned on these watches. Not on flashy devices, but on analog guardians designed to perform in silence. It was a system built in workshops, not boardrooms, supervised by watchmakers, not executives. Olivia listened as the secure history of her family shifted from myth to mechanism. She asked why a secret of such magnitude was kept from the world. Klaus answered with quiet gravity. Because controlling those slivers of time was dangerous. Because it was only safe if it lived in the hands of those who respected what time really is. Not a commodity, a covenant. Klaus turned to the safe at the center of the room and began to work the mechanism with the certainty granted by decades of guardianship. Gears within gears slid into place. The door opened onto rows of identical watches and boxes of documents, proof, records, the spine of an empire that Marcus thought he owned. Klaus faced Olivia and offered not money but a mantle, partnership, stewardship, the invitation to become a keeper of time. Olivia recognized the choice before her. She had been measured by a father who never praised, tested by a life that demanded patience and precision. She understood the craft. She understood the responsibility. In that quiet Swiss workshop, she accepted. 2 weeks later, back in the glass and steel heart of Weber and Turner, the board gathered again. Marcus presided with confident talk of modernization and merger. When Olivia entered, he tried to reduce her with a sneer. A role in maintenance, perhaps. A lifetime repairing broken watches. She smiled and laid down copies of what the safe contained. Contracts whose timing matched microsecond signatures. Ledgers and correspondence that made sense only if you knew where to look. The weight of evidence shifted the room. Her mother's gasp broke the silence. Marcus read and paled. Olivia did not demand the title. She did not want the seat. She reminded them that the true board had always been elsewhere, in a workshop where time was crafted rather than consumed. She walked out of that room not as an overlooked daughter, but as the inheritor of a covenant. Marcus kept his millions and his chair. He would answer to timelines he could barely comprehend. Olivia returned to Switzerland, to the bench and the safe and the work. She took her father's watch in her hands and felt its secret heartbeat. Not a fortune, a future. This is the revelation at the heart of the Turner legacy. That the most valuable inheritance is not always wealth. Sometimes it is a discipline, a standard, a responsibility to hold steady the seconds on which lives and fortunes turn. Olivia's gift was not gold. It was the knowledge of when to start, when to wait, and when to let the world hold its breath. In the end, she understood her father at last. He did not believe her passion was a hobby. He believed it was the only thing that could protect what he had built. He knew that the keeper of time had to be someone who saw beyond the surface, someone who would treat microseconds with reverence, someone who would hear a soft click in the quiet and know what it meant. So the old watch was not broken. It was a key, a test, a promise. Olivia took her place among those who craft the world's most precious resource. Not the tick that everyone hears, but the hush between ticks where history pivots. And time, at last, was on her side. Now I want your honest take. If you were Olivia, would you rather have the $47 million or the broken watch and everything that came with it? Was the father wise or cruel? Drop your answer in the comments, and if stories like this make you question money, family, and what fair really means, hit subscribe to the Is It Just Me channel so you don't miss the next story.